What is up, everybody? It's Tyler with Hooksets Are Free. Hope you're having a good day, night, whenever it is that you're watching this video. It's about 9:15 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time here on Thursday, August the 18th of 2022. So hope everybody's doing well. Just going to do a little live unboxing tonight for my monthly package from Discount Tackles. So I'm going to give people the next 5 or 10 minutes to get the notification, see that we're doing a live stream, hop in here before I open this package, and we'll get on with it. Looks like we got Brendan, Riley, Frank. What's up, guys? Yo, yo. Daniel. Yo, hit that thumbs up button, guys. We got people pouring in here real quick, so that's awesome. I don't know if it's because I gave you the heads up over from Instagram or what, but you guys all just jumped in here at the exact same time. That's super fun. So hope you guys are having a great week. I've done a minimal amount of fishing myself. I went out twice in a row, really. Went out yesterday and then went out last night. So yesterday I had some good success, but yeah, I will say I caught maybe half a dozen or 7 fish. 2 of which came on a technique that I just want to get to know better, and that's hover strolling. So yeah, kind of a no feel dead action type of technique, and that was interesting. So used the Berkeley Max Scent flat nose minnow as the bait, and then just a 90-degree jig hook. I think the one made by Gamakatsu, not the one made by Decoy, even though I think I've got both at this point. But anyway, caught a couple of smaller fish on that, and then caught like 5 or so fish, all between 2 and maybe 3.5 pounds on let me let you take a guess what caught those fish for me. And yeah, I'll give you 1 minute to take a wild guess at what bait did work for me yesterday. Brendan, I am drinking the Trader Joe's IPA. So they call it the Boatswain Hazy IPA. Trader Joe's beer is super underrated. I think I was talking about their lager last week. This lager is $3.99 for a 6-pack. This IPA is $4.99 for a 6-pack. So crazy cheap and pretty good. So Matt says Chatterbait. Riley says Fire Craw Chatterbait. Brendan says Power Glider by Berkeley is a good one for hover strolling. Interesting. Frank says Banjo Minnow. Brendan says Swim Jig. Daniel says Drop Shot. No, so I'll say that Matt and Riley were right, and of course it was none other than a black and blue jackhammer chatterbait. I mean, that bait I could leave tied on to the same rod and reel setup uh, close to year round, and that thing would just wreck for me. Now I lost one like a week or two ago, but I still have 1 or 2 that have caught me, I don't know, hundreds of fish each, and are just super destroyed. But I love that, and I think the fish do too. So anyway, caught a bunch of good fish on the chatterbait yesterday. I don't know. Do you guys want to see any of these photos? That was the first one. That was the second one. I guess I didn't I thought I had saved these properly, but I didn't. So I don't know if that's the same fish that I just showed you or not, but anyway, yeah, all kind of right in that 2 to 3, 3.5 pound range. And fun day on the water. I thought it was going to be a really quick session, and then they were eating that pretty well. So ended up turning out to be like a 2.5 hour session. And then I went out last night late and didn't get bit on really anything. Um, I caught one on a chatterbait, but um, it was small, not really noteworthy whatsoever. The other thing that I did catch, maybe just one fish on yesterday, was an underspin. So where's that photo? So this guy, I was actually using the Scottsboro tackle Yum swim bait. That's that 3.5 inch size with a Berkeley Fusion 19 underspin. So pretty good setup there. And yeah, I like it. I find that I have to swim it a little bit faster than I want to. Um, it would probably do slightly better in 5 to 10 feet or deeper than what I was fishing in, which is relatively skinny. But um, anyway, I still like the underspin, but I'm almost more curious to get out on the water with this little guy, the Ike's mini swim jig, and see how this baby runs. But I don't know. Let me catch up on these comments, and then we'll get into unboxing this package in just a couple minutes. Daniel says, I can't get a look at a chatterbait right now. That's wild. Ron Hawley in the house. What's up to you as well, man? Hope you're having a good night. And I hope you've been well in general. Riley says, heck yeah. I used the jackhammer 2 days ago, caught a good amount. Matt says, hey, Riley, been a minute since I've seen you in here. Frank says, I caught a 1.5 pound smallie on the Stealth Blade this weekend. First time I fished it seriously since pike season. Okay. Um, how do you feel about that, Frank? Are you happy about it? I mean, was it worth your while? Did it give you more confidence in the Stealth Blade? What did that do for you? Because yeah, I still can't kind of come around to liking the Stealth Blade myself. Um, Brendan says those 3 inch Yum slash Scottsboro swim baits on an Okashira screwhead is a killer combo. Has a different action to it. Yeah, I believe that because it's definitely got a little bit more roll and wiggle to it, whereas a spark shad is very stable and just has that tail kick behind it. So um, that's an interesting idea. I didn't think to do that necessarily. Was take an Okashira screwhead and throw one of those Scottsboro tackle swim baits on one of these little guys. Not a bad idea. Thank you. Adam, I'm sorry to hear that, man. Fishing's been difficult. Daniel says, I've tried different colors. I've switched from the jackhammer, the elite, the cross eyes. Still can't do it, huh? That's rough. Man, I don't know what to tell you. And Matt says, Tyler, the new Evergreen Bass Enemy Stick Chatterbait trailer is meant for the stealth blade, but it can work with any chatterbait really. Has built-in weed guard to the plastic to go over the hook. What? Built-in weed guard into the plastic? I don't know what that means. But send me some more information about what the heck the name of that bait is, because I'd love to check it out. So, guys, anyway, this is my monthly order from discounttackle.com. If you guys don't shop at Discount Tackle, you need to be. Not for the sake of helping me out, but for helping your wallet out, quite honestly. Uh, I'm not streaming right now where I can share my screen and show you guys Discount Tackle, but I'll just say, if you like to save money on your fishing gear or your fishing tackle, you ought to check out Discount Tackle. I'm going to leave my affiliate link in the chat right now. Um, it's not going to save you more money there, but it will let Discount Tackle know that I essentially sent them your way, and it helps my relationship with Discount Tackle. It also sends me a little bit of a commission anytime you buy something using that link. So bookmark that if you haven't already, and yeah, check out Discount Tackle because they get in some good stuff. They've got a pretty solid selection and good deals, and they get some things in before other places do. So always worth checking places like Discount Tackle on a regular basis. So I shop there on a regular basis myself, and this is my monthly order for the month of August. I've actually been sitting on this package for, I don't know, a week or so. So I don't remember what is in here, and I'm kind of excited to find out. All right, so crankbait it is to start out because that's what's on top. Yeah, Brendan, how many stickers are you up to now? That's a great question, dude. If I had to guess, I don't know, a little over 100. Okay, so this order is going to add up to $85. I'll tell you kind of what each of these items costs and whether I'm saving money or not. And we'll kind of go that way. So I've got 2 crankbaits in here because these were in stock at Discount Tackle and not elsewhere. So I don't really know. But this is the Shimano Bantam, I believe it's called. Oh, I should know. The MB75 Shimano Macbeth Big 75. Okay. So this is the big dog in the lineup, and they make a medium size, they make a small size, and they make a shallow runner. And this is the largest size in the line. And it would not have been my first choice, but they actually had 2 colors that were in stock. And all the other versions just had 1 color in stock. So I think it was just kind of a very quick sample run that they got. And this was the one model that they had in 2 colors. So I picked up both colors in this one size, and that's it. These baits retail for $10.99, and so I paid full price on it. It is a really good looking square bill crankbait. Certainly not small, right? Has kind of a handmade look to it. And yeah, it's a silent bait. Pretty fat. So I would imagine it's got some wobble to it. Um, I'll just read what the back says real quick for you. Macbeth Big 75F is the full-size square bill crankbait designed for heavy cover cranking. The combination of hybrid edge, square bill design, high buoyancy, and fixed one-piece weight construction make the MB75 a specialized crankbait for heavy cover. The hybrid edge square bill uh, creates a fast wobble and rolling action, while the molded weight concentrates the lure's center of gravity from shallow to mid range. This is a lure that can cover a wide variety of situations, triggering trophy bass bites. All right, fair enough. Fast wobbling and rolling action. So this is one color that's just a chartreuse purple. Uh, yep, purple back chartreuse. Like I said, $10.99. And then this is the color that they had in stock, and they probably still do on Discount Tackle's website, but this was the one color they had in stock for all four of the models of the Macbeth. And this is a transparent green crawdad type of color. As you can see, got a little bit of orange on the bill there, but you can see that fixed weight right there in the belly. So part of what I like about this bait is the translucency and just how much you can see straight through that bait. Uh, a lot of times I like to try and get baits where you can actually see the internals of what we're looking at. So that's a fixed weight down there in the bottom of the bait. Silent bait. And yeah, this guy right here is called Clear Green Craw. Sounds about right. So they have the clear green craw in all four of the models. The 75, the 65. I don't know if it's a 55 or what. That is the tiny, and then the shallow diver as well. But otherwise, that's the only color they have available in all of these baits. So yeah, a couple of Shimano Macbeth square bills. Decided to give those a whirl. They've been kind of in and out of my cart for a while now. So I decided finally to just kind of pull the trigger on that. Tim Maynard in the house. Bruce Nichols in the house. What's up? What's up? Was Bruce asking what the price was? $10.99. $10.99. So definitely not too bad. Okay, weird. I definitely haven't seen these in stores yet, but from what I've seen in videos and pictures, the Strike King Tour Grade Spinnerbait looked to be a good bait. I don't know that I love this packaging or the initial impression of the bait, but let's go ahead and get this out of the package. So like I said, Strike King Tour Grade Spinnerbait, and there's a couple things to note about this bait, and you'll notice kind of straight away that the main thing is this guy right here, and they call it a turtleback blade. So this is the Turtleback Spinnerbait. It's got a Colorado blade up here, and then this turtleback blade. So this is an all gold version, and this is like a golden shiner type of color. You know, I'm not sure how well it's showing up on your end, just how flashy this thing is, including the paint on the head. So this skirt is hand tied. And I mean, this is a nice hook. I couldn't tell you what it is other than the fact that it's kind of an O'Shaughnessy bend, and the fact that like this spinner bait on the whole is pretty compact. So I'm a big fan of that. But then you get this slightly different blade combination and size to where you're going to get a little extra thump out of a more compact profile. So yeah, this bait retails at $8.49, or at least that's what I paid for this. This is a 5/16 ounce. So I prefer a lighter spinner bait, usually in the quarter or 3/8 ounce. So 3/16 was something that's kind of right up my alley, if you will. Matt makes a good point. The Macbeth from Shimano, they come in a flat side version that looks really good, and Matt has those as well. So definitely worth a look if you're interested in the Macbeth lineup of crankbaits from Shimano. All right. Oh, who wanted to know? Brennan wanted to know how the bait keeper is on this spinner bait, and it's average. Very average. So yeah, I mean, pretty decent looking spinner bait here. $8.50. I don't know. I will report back. I like the compact profile and the different blades. Who knows? All right. Next up. Next up. All right. All right. So I don't know why I feel the need to have these just in my collection. I don't know if I'm ever going to start fishing these a lot, but Discount Tackle had the HD colors in the small size of the gilly in stock. So I did pick up 2 packs of these, and this is what HD color is this? This is just called Sunfish, I guess. It's a great looking color. Um, essentially, I see myself throwing this thing on a drop shot or a free rig, something of the sort. Maybe on a Tokyo rig, but something slow moving and toward the bottom of the water column. I like this 90 size and the fact that it's so bite sized, especially for this wider profile. Um, I'm curious to see how these get bit. These do not smell like power bait. They smell like paint. Now, they do have those HD color schemes on them, so I don't know if they were painted like right before getting put in this package, but wow, that reeks of paint more than anything. So I got that sunfish color, and then I got this warmouth color, which is quite a bit more dark, a little bit more natural, and stealthy, if you will. A lot more green, black, orange. So a couple of great color patterns there in the ghillie that, you know, came back in stock and just haven't been available forever. So I haven't even given this bait enough of a chance to know whether I'm going to like it or not. You know, I think I fished it a couple of times, maybe, and I've only got it in a black and blue color. I think I've caught one fish on it. So I want to be able to do a little bit more work with the ghillie, but it's not something that, like, you know, I'm super excited about or anything like that. It's just finally they had some more stock available. So it is what it is. Adam, do Japanese anglers in Japan use a lot of spinner baits or just promote a lot of them? Um, I don't know that, but I would assume that they use a lot of spinner baits, but couldn't tell you. You know, Bruce, while I could technically agree with you, you know, these gillies were $8.09 per pack, so $2 per bait. That said, there have been a lot of baits over the last year or two, in particular, that that have proved me wrong in terms of thinking about soft plastic baits and where that break even point is, or what I ought to look for in terms of value. And a lot of times it's just about the action and doing something different, looking different, getting bites that other baits won't get. So at $2 a bait, yeah, while that's certainly expensive relative to other soft plastic baits, especially if we're comparing to something like a Zoom soft plastic, where maybe you're paying 30 cents per bait, something like that. Um, yeah, it's expensive, but there are times where you can kind of get over that and easily justify spending the extra dough. So, Ron Holly says, ducking out, Tyler. Catch the rest tomorrow, night all. Okay, Ron Holly. Well, this one is pretty wild. Uh, Definitely out of left field. I just saw that Discount Tackle got these in stock, and I took a quick peek at it, and I don't know if it was the promo video, something that was, you know, recorded with Shin Fukai, who's obviously, you know, a pro for Spro and Gamakatsu. But this bait right here, the Cyclone Prop Junior, I had literally never heard of this thing until I saw it on Discount Tackle's website. So very kind of curious about this thing for a couple of reasons. But regardless, this color is called Dart Frog, and size-wise, I wish they had the specs here on the packaging. It says it's 80 millimeters long, and it weighs 5/8 of an ounce. Okay, obviously it comes with 2 Gamakatsu treble hooks on it, stock out of the package. But here is what makes this bait different. Is one, a little bit of a unique shape to this bait, and two, this blade that trails behind the bait. Okay, so essentially, I don't know if you can hear that, but it has a very similar sound to, say, a buzzbait. It's relatively squeaky. Now it's got an interesting shape cut out to it, but essentially it's just like half or a quarter of a buzzbait blade on the back of a plastic bait. You get a loud rattle in it as well. So small profile bait with 2 treble hooks on it and a buzzbait blade. It's just kind of an alternative to a whopper plopper. So I thought this thing was kind of an interesting idea. And it's not like this is a category that this bait has a lot of competition in. I don't know. This package, there's a lot more impulse purchases, as you can tell already, but this bait was on sale for $14.44. The other thing that you'll see about this guy is that the line tie is on a swivel. So that's a super smart design so that if and when you do get grass caught up in this blade and the bait starts to spin, that you don't deal with a big issue with line twist. So this is the Spro Prop Dart. No, the Spro Cyclone Prop Junior. And yeah, might be worth a look. $14 at Discount Tackle right now. I'll keep you guys posted about that bait. I'm going to be fishing it in the next week or so. One of the reasons that I was more open-minded to trying this bait is the fact that I've been trying to dedicate more time to the Nishini Lure Works Abino. I've now thrown it maybe 3 or 4 different times. I've only gotten hit once or twice, and I think landed 1 fish on it. But I really, really like the sound and the action of that bait. So I am now more interested than ever in similar prop style baits that just have a different presence in the water, a different sound as they travel through the water. So anyway, let me catch up on these comments because you guys are chatting and I like that, but I'm not reading your comments. So Bruce says, stink pickle plopper sure has the freshly pinched turd shape. Yeah, it does. But I bet it'll catch a ton. Brendan says it looks like a turd with a blade, says Jeff. Okay. Topwater poo for sure. Buzzbait and a whopper plopper had a baby, says Daniel. Yeah. Adam says, give me a plopper with rotating hook hanger, please. Yeah, that would be nice. Would be useful. you know, and it's tempting. Like, why aren't treble hook companies coming out with the same technology that like those Ryugi quad hooks have, where there's swivels built into the treble hooks? You know, I don't know why that doesn't exist more, and why the cost of that hasn't come down, so that you couldn't maybe provide that to people for $2 or $3 a hook. You know, we got Jermaine in the house. What's up, Jermaine? Brendan getting out of here. All right, all right. Adam, yeah, I don't know if Shinfukai designed the bait or what, but when I looked at this bait on Discount Tackle's website, there was definitely a video of Shin using this bait and talking about it, and that's part of what convinced me to give this bait a shot. So, yeah, 14 bucks, about the same price as a Whopper Plopper. Looks more interesting to me. We'll just have to see how it performs. I don't know. Chicken fried steak. What's up, dude? What is shaking? All right, so now we got some soft plastics in here just to finish out the order. In here is the ever garlicky Gambler Big Easy, and this is in a funny color called the Vid 19. The Vid. So yeah, I'm gonna open this just to show you guys what this color is. So the Gambler Big Easy is $4.16 for a pack on Discount Tackle. And the Vid 19 is definitely a good looking color. I'll say that. I mean, I wish I could tell you exactly what it is. It's almost like a Copperfield type of color, but it's got more silver in it. But definitely a cool color here. I don't throw a lot of Gambler swim baits, and here's why. Right? I've talked about it before, but you'll notice that these baits are rarely perfectly straight out of the pack. So that might not be a huge issue when rigging this up and fishing it. It might swim just fine, but it also might not, and it definitely affects confidence. And so I don't fish a lot of these Gambler swim baits because they're just thrown in the bag and smashed down, and it is what it is. So you rarely pull one out of the pack and just have a perfectly straight tail. It's about as frequently as you get with Zoom, for example. So kind of unfortunate, but I wanted to see what this color looked like in person, and yeah, maybe give it a shot. So it's the Gambler Big Easy, $4.16 in a pack, or for a pack, and there's like 7 baits in here, so maybe 8 baits. That's a good deal. And then lastly, I got did get another American flag sticker, but I got 4 packs of soft plastics from NetBait and American Bait Works. So these are the You'll see American Bait Works on the packaging, net bait, bait fuel, and it says this is the Paca Slim with bait fuel in it. So if that's a real thing, then frickin' right, doggy. I'm excited about that. So they have started injecting bait fuel into a number of different net bait profiles, existing baits. And so yeah, American Bait Works is the parent company for NetBait and for Bait Fuel, as well as Freedom Tackle and a number of other companies. But everybody knows that the Paca Craw is an awesome bait. Now, of course, you get this problem I was just talking about, where sometimes the claws are a little bit twisted, whatever. But the Paca Craw, the Paca Slim make an awesome jig trailer, an awesome Texas rig bait and flipping bait. Great bait all around. So this is the Paca Slim in the 4-inch, and it's already infused with bait fuel, and yet it does not feel slimy or any different than it would ordinarily straight out of the pack. And because bait fuel doesn't smell, you have no idea that it's in here. So how cool is that if now all of a sudden these baits with bait fuel infused into them will stay good, and with bait fuel on them for an extended period of time? I don't know, but that's awesome that they're doing that now. Paca Slim, green pumpkin, 4-inch, super versatile bait there, and one that, you know, I couldn't pass up, quite honestly. And then I got a couple others that are a little bit more specific, and these are ones that I'm also pretty excited about. Now, I will say I really like the packaging here with American Bait Works. Very subtle packaging, okay? They've got a lot going on information-wise, but these baits are very straightforward. They're easy to seal, easy to open. No nonsense. This bait here, infused with bait fuel, used to exist. Now it does, with bait fuel in it, and this is called the NetBait Dagger. This is a flippin' bait, punch bait, and this is one that's kind of been on my radar for a while now, but that I've been hesitant about for some reason. And I say for some reason, but really it's these wings, right? Does it not remind you of like the chase baits? Like these guys right here with these wings on the side, right? I mean, it's got to remind you of those baits. But these wings on the side are different because the plastic is a little thicker, and it's got these really fat ridges on the side. So they're not going to wave on the way down. This bait is just going to stay relatively streamlined. And really the meat of the body is that center, this thin vein down the middle. And then all you get are these two claws. And that is the entire bait. So super straightforward, very streamlined profile, something that's going to come in and out of cover really well, hold a flipping hook well, and yeah, something that I am willing to give a shot. So this is the Dagger in the Delta Craw color, and really this is just Falcon Lake Craw type of color, green pumpkin red, and solid color at that. So that's the Dagger. Both of these baits these creature baits were really affordable. I'll say that. The pack is slim, 9 in a pack. These guys were $4.07. Okay, the Dagger comes with 8 in a pack, and these guys were $4.07 as well. Now, these other two baits that I have are a little bit more expensive, but that's because they're from a different line of soft plastics, okay? So, under the American Baitworks brand or name, I believe they're based up in Canada, and there is a Finesse brand of soft plastics up there called STH, Set the Hook, and so they're under the American Baitworks umbrella as well. And this bait right here is called the flat-sided shad. This is the 4.5 inch. I believe they make it in a 3.5, a 4, and a 4.5, or maybe it's 3.5, 4.5, and 5.5. I'm not sure, but you can see that this size, the 4.5 inch, comes with 8 in a pack. And this color is called Shiner. Let's see what this is about. So, got a little clamshell package. Not mad about that at all. And wow, I am definitely surprised. This is one of those baits where you see what you see online and you think you know what to expect, and then you hold it in person and all of a sudden, I mean, this bait's completely different than what I thought. So, listen, this bait looks like it has a very familiar shape to it, and look at this though. This has the profile of, I mean, almost like a leech. Dude, this is something else. Super, super thin. So I thought this was going to have like a bait fish body that was going to be deeper than it was wide. I thought it was going to have flat sides on the sides and then be deeper on the belly. And meanwhile, it's the opposite. It looks like it's filleted or something. Wow, that is so different than what I thought it was going to be. And it's not like I'm necessarily upset about that. I don't know how to process that. This Shiner color is a really cool one. It's like a watermelon with a little bit of blue flash. You can see it there, but where I just showed you, it's pretty hard to see the iridescence and the color pattern and stuff. So anyway, these STH baits are a little bit more expensive. So this guy right here, the flat-sided shad, is $6.54 right now. Like I said, 8 baits in a pack. So it's not crazy expensive. But compared to the other ones, compared to net bait products in general, yeah, a little bit more expensive. And then this is the last thing in the package, and this is one of their more famous baits, drop shot bait under the STH line, called the crush worm. So this is one of the baits that kind of put this brand on the map. This color, Killer Pumpkin, should be pretty good for me. the type of color that I have a lot of confidence in, but it also kind of is reminiscent of like an old school Morning Dawn chartreuse, but really what it is more of like a green pumpkin, purple, pink almost, but very standard hand poured style drop shot worm here. And yeah, it's called the crush worm. 4.5-inch drop shot worm, little beauty, and yeah, one that I'm excited to give a shot. So again, these come in a clamshell as well, which is pretty salty right now, and I don't blame them for it being that way. But very organized, allows you to have that flat bottom, and they all stay straight in the pack. Nothing gets messed up. Got some cool color patterns, and yeah, it looks like, you know, there's not much reason not to try some of these baits. These are just some of the net bait fuel collaboration stuff that is out now, but really most of what is available on Discount Tackle's website right now. So again, 2 creature style baits, one being that, you know, punch style bait, the Dagger, and then one being the Paca Slim in the 4-inch. So gonna do slightly different things with it. You know, I'll flip this and punch it, whereas this I might flip, but I'm also going to use it on a jig trailer, a swim jig, a chatterbait, a wobble head, kind of anything and everything with the Paca Slim. And then a couple drop shot baits here with the flat-sided shad and the crush worm. So pretty sweet there that that those are now in at Discount Tackle. And I believe that does it for this order. So a couple things that I'm more excited about than others, but you know, all in all, spent $85 on that order, and I'm not mad about it. So let me catch up on these comments real quick, because I know I haven't been paying attention at all, and I apologize for that. Adam says, I don't see the Paca Craw infused with bait fuel on Discount Tackle. So, I mean, it should be on there, but you might have to search Paca Slim to be able to find it. It's not the standard Paca Craw. And, you know, these days there's so many different versions because the Paca Craw is so successful. They've got, you know, small versions, big versions, skinny versions, regular versions, chunk versions, and yeah. So hopefully, you know, they can get all of those made with bait fuel infused into them sooner than later, but we'll see about that. Adam says, I think the STH are all supposed to be hand poured / injected. Maybe they are. Yeah, I don't know about that. Bruce, yeah, it is. American Bait Works, Halo Rods, same company. And yeah, Matt, you're right. That flat-sided shad definitely looks like a leech. Adam says, yeah, it reminds me of a Yamamoto flatworm mixed with a Kitech leech. I don't know the Yamamoto flatworm. Yeah, I just don't know that bait. But Kitech leech, yeah, pretty close. I mean, that's what I thought about when I just felt that bait for the first time, was like, whoa, this thing is a super thin profile. I did not expect that. When you look at pictures of the bait, it looks like it's round, but perhaps not perfectly round, not symmetrical, maybe a little bit more oval shaped, but not like a sliver. That definitely surprised me when I just saw that. Lightning Muskie says, I bought a crap load of the bee bugs when they discontinued them in a few colors. You can get some unique, you can do some unique things with them, different than any other beaver baits. New bugs aren't the same. Interesting. Daniel says, I like the look of the flat side on the website, but now I'm not sure what to think. See, that was the thing. And this is why I like to do unboxings for you guys, is so that you can see a little bit more information than like what I was working with, right? You know, take a look at that flat-sided shad on Discount Tackle's website in this shiner color. It might look a little bit like this right here, but it will look nothing like this right here. Now, am I mad about this profile and its possibilities? No. I'm just mad that like I didn't really know what this bait was until now. There's not good information and good photos about this bait online, and so I'm learning on the spot, right? This is a very thin bait. Reminds me of Kitech a lot in, you know, the ribbing and the shape of the nose. Like, this bait reminds me a lot of the Kitech Easy Shaker, um, which I talk about frequently, and I really like that bait. But regardless, this is a 4.5 inch bait, and I think for how thin it is, how leechy it is, I would prefer the 3.5 inch size. So that's my 2 cents for what it's worth. If you are interested in this profile, you know, I see this bait as a nose hook drop shot style bait, like through and through. But in my opinion, technically, the smaller the better with these profiles. So yeah, they make it in a 3.5, a 4.5, and a 5.5. This is that middle size. And yeah, if I were to get more of these, perhaps it would be in that 3.5 inch size. So don't know. Tim says all the packet craws are awesome, dude. I've caught more fish by accident on a paca than I have on purpose with some others. Adam says Stumpy Crush on a Jika or Tokyo rig is great. Um, I hear you and I believe you, even though I haven't tried either of them. Um, Nor is the bait that I have the Stumpy Crush. It's just the regular crush. Matt says, I like the core shot that they have on their baits. Yeah, I do too. Lightning Muskie says, I'm not convinced of the bait fuel just yet. Waiting to next spawn to draw my conclusion. Yeah, I got a little bit of a taste of that this year during the spawn, and had just enough positive feedback from my fish to determine that it definitely does or can make a difference. It's not like max scent and some other things where like literally just it trumps everything else. It, for some fish, it just makes the difference. It makes them bite. Um, but in certain situations, bait fuel has shown what it can do when when perhaps a fish is interested but not biting. Um, Instead of changing colors, instead of changing the way that you're fishing the bait, instead of changing baits altogether, you can throw a little bait fuel on there and it will actually get them to bite, believe it or not. Adam, yeah, that STH packaging is legit for sure. Lightning Muskie, what are you talking about? Am I in a closet? Um, no, I'm in my basement. But yeah, all you see is literally. What do you want me to do? Walk around my house right now and show you the rest of my house? I'm not going to do that, dude. Matt says, I almost bought a 100 JDM pack of scent. It had 2 big bottles of Eco Gear Aqua Liquid and amino powder, 1 Daiwa amino powder jug, 2 bottles of Nori's Bass Bite scent, and a couple other scents. Wasn't bad. Yeah, that sounds wild. That sounds a lot of different JDM scent stuff, which might have been good to have, or at least to try out. I don't know. Catfish Jonathan, what's up, dude? How are you doing tonight? Lightning Muskie is definitely right that the STH set the hook line of baits are more drop shot and smallmouth specific or focused um, soft plastic baits. You're absolutely right about that. G Fawn, Oogie Boogie to you as well, sir. Good to see you on this Thursday night. Adam Odin, congratulations on the tackle warehouse order, whatever it is that you ordered. You want to tell us what was in your order? Tim says I like them as swim bait or chatterbait slash swim jig trailers too. So if I'm in cooler or muddier water, I don't know if you're talking about the packas or what, but Jonathan, I'm doing great. Thank you for asking, man. Yeah, it does look a little bit like a closet, lightning musky, and that's because I am kind of tucked in, right? Uh, these drawers come out to right here in front of me, to about right here. So yeah, I'm tucked in a little bit, but sorry you don't love the setup. Megaforce Mark, what's up, dude? How you doing tonight? Uh-oh, Jermaine's on Tackle Warehouse right now. G Fawn, I'm not sitting on a toilet. Who would have known? You know, could have showed you the whole time, but I'm not sitting on a toilet. Look, the pegboard doesn't go all the way up. I've got a bench underneath me. What do you know? Sometimes I give you a little bit more of a preview or show you what is in this room, but what's the point of me showing all the time or moving around and having you see other less interesting things in the background, you know? Adam says I ordered a couple swim baits, swim jigs, uh, clay bait vole. Nice. Yeah, Daniel, I'm not just gonna show you guys my junk right now. So hold tight 1 second. Let me see if I can perhaps mute myself. My daughter's right here. Hey guys, I'm gonna be back in like 2 minutes. All right, I'm gonna tuck Brooklyn back in. I would invite her to sit on my lap, but she's got some tears in her eyes, so I'll be right back, guys. Yo, I'm back. My bad. Can you hear my? Can you hear me? Hopefully, maybe. All right. Chicken fried steak. Thank you for wishing Brooklyn a good night. Yeah, I wasn't barking. No barking spiders earlier. I'll let them rip if I have to. Holy shnikes, I just jumped over a bunch of comments. Daniel says, I want one, but probably not going to get a Vixen at 25 bucks, to be honest. Yeah. Matt says, I'd really like to know why bait fuel doesn't react with net baits plastic, but everyone else does it after leaving for long periods of time. Uh, it has something to do with them mixing it in with the plastic when they shoot it, um, that allows it to dry differently than when you just put it on top of already dried plastisol. The way that it mixes and congeals differently. So I don't know that for sure, but yeah. All right, so you guys can hear me. Right on. Lightning Muskie says, just curious if the new Vixens are more Gen 1 or more Gen 2. It's a good question. I couldn't tell you. And it was even a little bit hard to tell from Rich or Hello Bass from his video when he was showing them as well, and he's got all of them. So I don't really know what it is. Riley's got to get going. All right, no worries, Riley. You have a great rest of your night. Enjoy your Friday tomorrow and have a great weekend if I don't see you again. But there's a good chance that I'll be on either tomorrow or on Saturday. I'm not sure which night yet, but yeah, keep your eye out and have a good one. Thanks for stopping by. So we got 20 people in here right now. We've been on an hour and 12 minutes. I don't have a proper glass with me, so I'm just going to swig from the bottle as we chill and talk tonight. What do you guys want to talk about tonight? Um, right on, Riley. Yeah, I'd love to see William in here. So 22 people in here. Somehow, I don't know if you guys are pushing this out, if YouTube is pushing it out, whatever. But what do you guys want to talk about tonight? Let's go down some type of rabbit hole. I could talk about a couple of things that are sitting in front of me on my desk. And then if you guys have any questions, uh, otherwise, or want to steer the conversation in a different direction, by all means, let's do that. Um, but I just rigged up the other day this. I found this trailer. This is the Scottsboro Tackle Sniper Shad. Okay, I bought these like a few years ago, and I heard that these colors bleed together a lot, but I've gotten lucky, and these baits, because I bought them in this pretty translucent color called Viper Shad, uh, haven't really seen any issues with it. So I rigged it on this Strike King Naked Rage bladed jig, which is essentially a scrounger, but in a bladed jig. And yeah, this is a 5.5-inch soft plastic bait on the back of this. Made just like all of the Scottsboro swim baits. So just push that up on there a hair more, and she's rigged perfectly. So anyway, this is a bait that to me appeals just a lot more than like a stealth blade jackhammer. So anyway, that's something that that had my attention for a few moments the other day, as I was cleaning up my desk a little bit. Uh, got the thought to rig that up, and I love the way it looks. And once I get a little bit clearer water, I'm going to throw that. It's just we've had a lot of rain here the last week or two, so haven't had really the right conditions to be able to throw that. But Bruce says, what is the setup that you use the most, rod and reel? Um, the setup that I use the most. So this year, a setup that I've put a lot of use into, uh, for the sake of it, and to be able to give some feedback to you guys, and kind of put a beating on the rod, is that cheap rod that I bought, the Daiwa Aired X. It's a 7.3 medium heavy fast, and I've got that paired up with a Shimano Corrado K. And yeah, pretty sweet combo that I use for a pretty wide variety of things. I think that Corrado is a 7-speed gear ratio, so when rigged with 15-pound fluorocarbon, I can kind of do a little bit of everything on that setup, and so that's probably gotten the nod for me on almost every outing, but is something I've been using for a lot of different stuff. Lightning Muskie says favorite rod and reel and why. Um, that's a pretty complex question. So, um, favorite combo or favorite one of each, dude? I don't know. Two reels that I've had for a long time that have stuck out for me, uh, kind of by a while, have been the Quantum Smoke S3 reel and the Daiwa Tatula SV 103 reel. Those two reels have been fantastic for me. Um, they've been solid for casting distance, but really really good for control and and for finesse application. So that's my short answer. But I'm gonna try and catch up on some of these comments. Adam says, "How do you go about finding new ponds to fish? Google Earth." Um, Sometimes. So it's a lot of research on the initial upfront end. So yes, I do a lot of Google Earth uh, searching to find bodies of water, and then I will cross reference uh, with a few different other websites, and also my local Colorado DNR website. You know, I try to find out whether there are fish in that body of water before I go fish there. Um, you know, obviously not trying to waste hours of my time fishing at a place that doesn't even have fish, because I have done that before, and that is not something that's fun to do. So, using one of those dreaded social media applications like a Fish Brain, for example, or Fish Explorer. There's a handful of them like that. Um, can be a good thing to do when you are a guest or you have a free profile and you're not posting anywhere, right? You're using the application, you're using the platform to be able to access information that other people are providing. So you can find a body of water on Google Earth or on your DNR's website. You know, you can see what places have recently been stocked with trout. You can find all sorts of information, uh, you know, just by looking up regulations based on bodies of water. And then once you have a name of a place you want to check out, go on to somewhere like Fishbrain and just do a quick check and see what people have been catching out of there recently. And every now and again, you'll surprise yourself and you'll see a picture of like a pretty decent sized bass or something uh, in a place that you didn't expect. So all of a sudden, that can change your perception of a place where your expectations were nothing, and all of a sudden you see that someone recently caught, and presumably it was at that location since they tagged that spot, uh, caught a sizable fish from that spot. So you can kind of um, weigh that in terms of priority and make a point to go there. Keep your expectations perhaps a little bit higher in that situation. So, uh, yeah, there's a lot of different ways, man. But sorry to not be super direct, but that's one of the many ways, Adam. Lightning Muskie says the SV-103 with the old Zillion frame is awesome. Wow. Matt says they're stocking tiger muskie in local lakes. I wish it was trout. Dude, I don't know. I mean, not a horrible thing to have tiger muskie stocked, because then you can start targeting them in a matter of a few years from now. And just imagine if you get onto a pattern or know kind of how to track and target those fish. What a fun adventure that could become. So, yeah, I think stocking of fish in general is not a bad thing in general. Um, I felt like there was something else that I wanted to mention. At least it was on this table in front of me. Let me take a peek around. Um, I don't know what I wanted to comment on the big blade chatterbait, but I did find this guy that I had fished a handful of times last year. So I'm putting it with this guy that I haven't fished before. I don't know. I want to be able to find a time and a place to be able to fish this big blade and have a lot of confidence and be excited about it, because it's theoretically it's a cool concept, but I feel like it's a little bit more of an open water technique on bigger fish that perhaps haven't heard a chatterbait or might respond well to that giant blade and that serious amount of vibration that it puts out. Also, it's got a giant 6/0 hook on there, so it's really like this is a beefed up chatterbait for beefed up fish. But I don't know. I was thinking about the big blade chatterbait the other day and just why that hasn't been the bee's knees. Um, yeah, I don't. I'm kind of blanking out a little bit right now because I remember there were a few things that I did want to mention before, and are all just kind of like blurring together right now, and I don't want to just be super all over the place. But yeah, sorry, starting to blank out a little bit. We still got 20 people in here. Fire away if you've got uh, questions or topics of conversation, things that you guys want to address, want to talk about, want my opinion on, perhaps for some reason. I don't know that. But yeah, oh, one thing I really need to do is give my homemade chatterbaits a better shot. I didn't bend the blades on these properly. on all of them. So some of them are at more of an angle and therefore don't fish perfectly. But, using a 6 cents divine swim jig to make a chatterbait is just nasty. I mean, come on. And then, dirty jigs, California swim jig, giant hook on that guy. But, weedless chatterbait is something that not a lot of companies, not a lot of companies have executed well on. And what just happened that I just almost totally fell off of this bench? Whoa! Daniel says, I just got some of the 6 cents divine hybrid jigs. Those are great jigs, dude. Really solid shape, really versatile in terms of what you can do with them. I'm a big fan. Do you think I drink more when I'm swigging out of the bottle than if I'm sipping out of a glass, perhaps? If I had to guess, I'm going to say yeah to that one. Michael Romero says, how's it going, Tyler? Have you tried the Picasso weedless blade bait? Weedless blade bait, or are you talking about a bladed jig? No, I have not, dude. Picasso weedless blade bait. Let's see if I can find anything out about this. Oh, okay. The inline spinner. I haven't tried that yet, but that thing definitely looks interesting. I'll say that. Um, you're combining multiple genres of fishing by creating a bait like that. Really, it's an inline spinner uh, more than anything, but it's a spinner bait on the back with like an inline spinner uh, blade in the front, but otherwise it's just a swim jig. So I don't know. Interesting concept, kind of, I guess. Matt says, Tyler, you going to get in on the DRT and Toxic Bait collab drop tomorrow? They have every bait available from the K9, Joker, TK to the Ghost. What? No, I did not know that, dude. I mean, dang it. That's tomorrow? I wasn't planning on it, but what time is the drop, Matt? Because I feel like maybe I should. I should at least consider it, right? Um, I should put it on my calendar for tomorrow and at least try to remind myself 10 a.m. Pacific. Okay, so 11 a.m. my time. I might be able to make that work. Got a couple of commitments, and I got to be leaving here just a few minutes after that. But with these kind of drops, you got to be quick with it too. So, uh, whatever, should be fine. Michael says, I did get one of those inline spinners by Picasso, but no, I'm talking about the Shockblade Pro heavy cover. Okay, so you're talking about bladed jigs. Okay. I have tried the Shockblade Pro, but the heavy cover has a different head shape than the other one. So I think I just tried the Shock Blade Pro. Let me double check. Yeah, the heavy cover Shock Blade Pro. That's the one that I got. So yes, I have it and I've tried it, and I don't love it as much. I find that the Picassos have a uh, a very methodical, um, harder hitting vibration, and it's not as fast or as consistent as what you get with Z-Man. Uh, very subtle differences, right? But for me, the Picasso just isn't exactly what I was hoping or thought it might be. Um, I would rather go more subtle on the end of the Thunder Cricket than go a little bit more aggressive on the end of the Picasso Shock Blade. But yeah, that's just me, man. It does have the wire weed guards, and I used to have one sitting right here, but I've fished them this summer, and so I don't have them sitting right in front of me to be able to show you those Shock Blade Pros, but they're good. Lightning Muskie says, "What does everyone think of Berkeley's new Chatterbait?" So, yeah, Berkeley just released the Slobber Knocker this year. It's not going to be widely available for another couple of months, but you know, uh, I mean, it's a through head design, right? So it's just a different concept of how the blade attaches to the head. And from what I understand, from what I've heard, and from what I can see when looking at the bait, it looks like there's going to be a little bit less travel of the blade from side to side, like you get with the Thunder Cricket and the Jackhammer, where this blade actually travels all the way from side to side. You're going to get a little bit narrower of a window that blade can travel on the Slobber Knocker, if I had to guess, right? Um, but you're still going to get that head contact that I didn't necessarily see happening before. And so I think you're going to get a good sound, a good vibration, just perhaps a little bit tighter or a different frequency than what you get with the jackhammer. And so my expectations are middle of the road. Um, will I try it? Yes. Do I expect to love it? No. That's kind of the basic skinny on that and the slobber knocker. It's kind of how I felt about the Thunder Cricket when it came out. Uh, I like to keep an open mind, but it's hard to jump in and compete with something that's already so successful. So the Thunder Cricket managed to do that reasonably well, and it looks like maybe they're just trying to do Berkeley's trying to do the same thing with the slobber knocker that Thunder Cricket or that Strike King did with the Thunder Cricket, right? They're just realizing that like Z-Man has a giant corner of the market with the sales of the jackhammer chatterbait. And so some companies are looking to get a sliver of that. And, I don't blame them for trying to do so, but the jackhammer is just so damn good that I'm not going to switch off of it. Matt says Lightning Muskie, Oklahoma's worst angler, told me that he was able to burn the Strike King faster than the jackhammer, and it stayed down in the water column, and it starts right up like a jackhammer, has a slighter knock. Uh, yeah, most of that's true. You know, it stays down just a little bit better than the jackhammer because of this self tuning line tie. Okay. So this self-tuning line tie will allow the bait to swim lower in the water column. It's not going to drag it back up quite as easily. So yeah, this line tie does allow the bait to ride just a little bit deeper in the water column. Um, and because it has a little bit more subtle of an action, and I think it's less to do with the self-tuning line tie and more to do with how thin the blade is and the shape of the blade and the fact that it doesn't make nearly the amount of contact with the head as on a jackhammer. So it's quieter, it's faster because that blade is not getting slowed down by the contact with the head. So it's quieter, it's faster, um, and therefore it is more subtle. Now, it does start up because it's got that direct blade to head connection, just like, it that's the whole point of the patent that Z-Man has, is that type of blade, that connection allows for a faster startup than anything else. So, yeah, you get good component, good design out of the Thunder Cricket, uh, with that connection directly to the head, with that quality decoy snap, awesome hook. It's a good bait. And I don't doubt that this slobber knocker will be made from high quality components, but it's not a jackhammer. Michael Romero says Randy Blockett was hating on the jackhammer today, saying it's not worth the money and he's not going to use it anymore. That's hysterical. Why? Why? Is he just trying to get views, or if he used it before, why wouldn't he use it now when he's spending that much money on lots of different baits as it is? The dude throws megabass, so I don't understand. Matt, what was I saying? I called it the slobber knocker. The thunder cricket or the slobber knocker? I was talking about how I think the Berkeley slobber knocker will be somewhat like the release of the Strike King Thunder Cricket was, in that it's highly anticipated, it's super high quality, it's well thought out, looks to be well made, nothing wrong with it, but is it a legitimate competitor of the jackhammer? And the answer is likely not. Lightning Muskie says Berkeley right now is the biggest knockoff artist. They must be struggling bad for anything new. Even they knocked off Japan bait with the gilly. Um, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of copying going on in the industry. It's just kind of the time that we're in right now. Uh, Also, that will kind of always be a thing. Theoretically, imitation is the best form uh, of flattery. So I don't know. Uh, I don't know how to feel about a lot of copycatting going on, especially when it's big name brands using their resources to take advantage of smaller brands that have good ideas, but just aren't getting to market quite as quickly, aren't capitalizing on what could be a good market. I feel very mixed about that whole idea, that concept right there. So yeah. Randy Blockett said he caught more fish on the original chatterbait, so it wasn't worth it for him, says Michael Romero. Um, that always blows my mind when people say that, right? And I think Jim from Tackle Junkie was the first one to say that. Now he throws the Picasso shock blade all day, and then he doesn't throw the jackhammer, and I just don't get it. No, to each their own, right? But the jackhammer just is a better bait through and through. It's not hard to tell that. Uh, so I don't know what someone like Randy is doing, saying that it's not worth it, because obviously he's not putting the time into the bait. Uh, he doesn't have the confidence in a jackhammer chatterbait. There's a lot of other things going on than just the price tag. Uh, and that's kind of a problem, Randy. Matt says, "Shoot, Megabass has a chatterbait. Randy should be getting the sauce. Probably lying." Haha. Yeah, no, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised either way. Matt, you need to be throwing a chatterbait more frequently. And maybe I need to be posting more videos about fishing a chatterbait, or of me fishing a chatterbait, because it's like a cheat code, you know? And lightning muskie, you're right. Randy charges $10 a jig for a $3.50 jig. You're right about that. Berkeley did some good things when they launched Havoc and Max Scent, but after that, it's been rehashes. Uh, I don't know. It's hard to say, right? Just the evolution of the bait game has changed a bit, right? In terms of the standards that the average angler has when it comes to a jig or a spinner bait or a buzz bait, and the quality associated with that lure. So, with a spinner bait or a buzz bait, it's the diameter of the wire, it's the brand of the hook, it's the durability of the wire. Um, there's so many things that, like, before, companies used to just be able to get away with making a spinnerbait, making a buzzbait, um, and the average consumer wasn't super aware of what makes something decent quality versus not, and what's a decent bang for your buck, right? So I think that's pretty cool. And it was also a very random thing for me to say, because you mentioned that Berkeley did some good things when they launched Havoc and Maxent. What? I don't know how I got onto that. I mean, Berkeley Havoc was a line of soft plastics that had some good profiles. Berkeley Maxent was a line of soft plastics that had some awesome scent. Totally different ends of the spectrum, but things that were very successful nonetheless. And it's cool to see some of those things coming together, like the Berkeley Maxent Chigger Craw, for example. Do we got any in here? do we got any in here? I want to say the Chigger Craw became a thing once it was packaged with Havoc. So anyway, yeah, you're right that those have both been very influential things for Berkeley, but they're trying to do everything they can in the hard bait department, not just in soft plastics, and I don't blame them for trying to do that either, because there's a lot of stuff that they put out that I am a fan of. So Bruce says I've caught more bass on the cheap Walmart chatterbait than I have on all my other lures combined. Get out of here, Bruce. I have 2 jackhammers sitting here that I need to use ASAP. Too damn hot or some other crap comes up. Yeah, that sounds like a bunch of lies and like you're scared to throw the jackhammer, Bruce. Bruce, you got to tie that on and you got to go see how well it catches them. I'm telling you. And you got to mess with that retrieve. Keep it fast, keep it high. Yeah. I've found that this year and last year too, but a more of a true medium fast retrieve on a chatterbait with an occasional stop and go or an occasional slowdown of the reel, but generally moving that thing pretty quickly has triggered a lot of bites for me. So yeah, you got to try that jackhammer, dude. You said I have to drive an hour and a half one way for a pond worth fishing. And when I go, I stay at my brother's for at least 4 days. Well, geez, Bruce, uh, that that's extensive. That's a long drive, and that's a long trip just to be able to go fishing at a pond worth fishing. Damn, dude. Why do you got to go for 4 days if it's just an hour and a half drive each way? Lightning Muskie says the plastic blade jackhammers I thought sucked, and I fish mostly clear water now, and I feel that they're wasted money. Yeah, no, I agree with the same thing, Lightning Muskie. The stealth blade jackhammer is something that does not float my boat either. So this is a bait that maybe I bought a couple or a handful of these. I fished them maybe a handful of times before really coming to the conclusion that it's not my deal. Does not float my boat. I don't like it. So yeah, super unfortunate. Does feel like wasted money. Um, I wish they had found a way to design this blade so that it could be attached via snap instead of split ring, like all the other chatterbaits. I don't know why that gets in my head a little bit. 2, this line tie is gigantic. 3, this blade is small. I don't know. That all makes a difference. And so take a look at that. When you get a relatively small hole for this wire to go through, and then you get this giant hole. Look at that. Just got hung up. Just got hung up. Just got hung up. So that's pretty annoying. That it's not going to be the most consistent vibrator. It doesn't swing super wide. The holes aren't big enough. I feel like there's a lot of design flaws in this bait, in the stealth blade, that could have been looked at in the design process. with like, the location of that first metal hole and just how big it is, and then the shape of this line tie and preventing this blade from having to slide up before it rotates. Um, there are a lot of things that lead to this bait just looking a little bit like an oversight, aside from the skirt and the hook and a lot of aesthetic things that make this bait look really nice. But should it have won best in show at ICAST a couple of years ago? No, absolutely not. Matt says, I got to use that cross-eyes chatterbait that I won. Didn't use it. Kept fishing my heavy cover swim jig. Yeah, you got to get over that, Matt. You said, have you ever put nail polish on a blade to take away the shine? That is something that I haven't quite done yet, but have every intention to do sooner than later. And whether it's nail polish or Sharpie or whatever, I don't think it matters what you use. But yes, I have mentioned before and will mention again that I think a matte finish blade or something that is painted on the blade does make a difference. That a straight gold blade or a straight silver blade, in my experience, does not get bit as well as a matte or painted blade. So, when we're looking at the homemade blades by Queen Tackle, this silver, it probably fine because it's a little bit matte, but this black, better, right? This fire craw on this Thunder Cricket, even better because it's painted. So, um, yeah, in general, that's my consensus, is that painted blades or dulled blades are better than not. So, yeah, nail polish on blades I think would probably be a good thing, so long as maybe you sanded it down a little bit. It doesn't have a lot of shine, but seems like a good idea. Might take some steel wool to the blade. That's not a bad idea, Matt. Bruce says, what is your top pick for chatterbait trailers? I use super flukes mainly. Um, so yeah, there's really two types of trailers that I like to use, and it depends on what you're trying to do with the bait. I don't use a super fluke very often. I use a similar style bait in a straight tail style bait. Um, Not always a soft jerk bait per se, but something in that same category, right? As a fluke. So whether you call it the Yamamoto Zako or the Z-Man Razor Shads, or anything kind of in that same category that is a shad style trailer, whether it's segmented or just a straight tail, doesn't quite matter. And fluke fits into that category as well, right? Something that is a straight tail and will excel on a chatterbait because the tail of the bait will move in conjunction with the blade, and the the displacement of water as a result of the blade. Now, the other style trailer that I like to use is more of a middle of the road kicking style Craw soft plastic. And the last couple of years, that bait for me has been the Z-Man Goat. I've transitioned from the Strike King Rage Menace Grub, which is the same bait, just a slightly rounder version than what you get from the Z-Man Goat, which is a little bit squished down, a little bit flatter, but same profile, same kicker legs, everything like that. Um, so yeah, the Z-Man Goat is probably my next go-to type of bait on the back of a chatterbait. At least has been the last year or more. But you can use anything um, in that range of beaver slash craw style baits. And in general, one thing that comes to mind for me straight away is that a flatter bait is usually going to do you well. So if you were to throw something along the lines of, a Strike King Rage Bug, or in this instance, a Reaction Innovations Spicy Beaver, right? So this is the same type of bait as the Strike King Rage Bug, or the Zoom Z Craw, or a bunch of other baits on the market like that. Throw this thing on the back of a chatterbait, and what you get is something a little bit different. So you get that really big kick from these appendages, from these flanged kickers here. But then you get this flat body from this beaver style body. And so you're able to skip a chatterbait way up farther under something than what you'd be able to do with something else. And as you begin to retrieve the chatterbait, you find almost immediately that the bait rises up high in the water column. So with some of these straight tail soft plastics, it's going to allow the bait to travel tighter and lower, more true through the water column. As you throw something like this, a flatter and heavier kicking bait on the back of a chatterbait, that thing rises up and it wants to ride high in the water column. So it has a totally different action on it than what you get out of something like the Rage Menace Grub. And the cool thing about the Rage Menace Grub is that you can rig it horizontally or vertically, right? So you can do a couple different things with the bait where you're either rigging it like so, and it's kicking like a bait fish, or you're rigging it like so, and it's kicking like a crawfish. So, the Rage Menace Grub, and therefore the Z-Man Goat, are awesome baits for really that purpose of when you want a bait that can kind of do a little bit of everything for you and imitate both a bait fish and a craw, and be something that, just depending on the way that you orient the bait, as a trailer, is something that you can use for a little bit of everything. Uh, Bruce says, is the Zacho the same soft, salty, non-durable Senko plastic? I really like the Senko. I flip them when they're torn up on one end. So yeah, the Zacho is it's a bait that is salty, but not crazy salty. Um, I would say a little bit less so than what you'd get out of a Senko. Um, on a chatterbait, I average somewhere in the ballpark of 5 to 10 fish per trailer when using the Zacho. This thing holds its shape remarkably well and is just a really good chatterbait trailer. For all of time, it has been my go-to chatterbait trailer. So you got to have the Zacho. All right. You know, Tim and Lightning Muskie, I think you guys are onto something when it comes to the Stealth Blade Jackhammer there, and you know why it's not that fantastic of a bait. So I agree with you guys. So Matt says almost every time I use the original chatterbait, I put an OSP Doe Live stick fat, and I never got a bite, which I find surprising, to be honest. So this sounds almost a little counterintuitive, or like something that you're probably not going to want to hear, Matt. But if I were you, I would probably step up the quality of the chatterbait that you're using and step down the quality of chatterbait trailer that you're using. Go to something a little bit more mainstream. See what a Zacho, see what a rage bug or a rage menace grub or a upside down Kitech or paddle tail style trailer. You know what a wide variety of different trailers will do for you. Um, as opposed to something like an OSP Doe Live stick, which can be a little bit more narrow. And once you've narrowed in on a bait that you love, it's crazy how much you'll come to realize that trailers can make all the difference in action and in your confidence and just what happens. But a bad trailer on a good chatterbait can be a really bad thing. So I'm not here saying that the OSP Doe Live stick is a bad trailer. I'm just saying maybe you kind of did things a little bit backwards when you're not a chatterbait fisherman and you're going to a very specialized chatterbait trailer. I don't know. That's just an observation. I could be totally off about that, but just a thought, man. Lightning Muskie, no, I have not tried the owner haymaker hooks just yet, but I will at some point. Maybe this year, maybe next year. I don't know when. Tim says, I stopped using the Zacho solely based on its popularity. It's been a great trailer, no doubt, but I'm constantly striving to set myself apart from everyone on the lake. Dude, I can relate to that, right? The Zacho was something that I threw a lot and felt proud to use a lot when nobody else was using it. When it was like, okay, obviously this is a bait made to be a chatterbait trailer, but it's the best out there by a long shot. Like it's the bait that you gotta have. And now there's enough options out on the market that that's not necessarily just like a black and white thing to say. that the Zacho is like what you need to have. So yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of in the same boat. Bruce says if you just retrieve it without a bend in the rod, it takes forever to start up and barely misses, makes any sound. I don't know who you're talking to, but Lightning Muskie says, have you tried any Amakatsu or Nori's baits? Only a couple, but not many. For either brand, if we're being honest. So, good question though. Good question. All right, guys. All of a sudden, I got the urge to have to pee. It's 11:21 my time. Later than that for most of you guys in here. So I'm gonna leave so that I can go pee instead of come back here because it's already been a long enough stream. Let's just plan to be back here either tomorrow night or Saturday night. So keep your eyes peeled. Uh, keep an eye out. Maybe we'll be back hanging out tomorrow night. But either way, you guys have a great Friday tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your night tonight, and I'll see you guys again in the next one. Peace.